What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Pokemon Duel. So today we're going to be talking about how to play the game in general. I've had quite a few people ask me to make a video on this and just generally explain how to make decisions, how to play the game in general, and just sort of how to build a deck. So I'm going to be going through all of that right now today. We're also going to be opening up a quadruple pack right there. As you guys can see, there is no place where you can actually get a sextuple pack anymore, so that's pretty unfortunate, but we're gonna go for a quadruple pack because I do really want to get a Articuno, Zapdos, or Moltres and see how good they are in general. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so we have the quadruple pack. First off, right off the bat, we're gonna be doing that, so let's see what we can pick up right now. Alright. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, we got a gold right off the bat. Fantastic stuff. What do we got? Awesome. Okay, yes, we got a Yveltal. Now, Yveltal is part of a specific strategy with Weavile and Yveltal that's very, very powerful. You do need 2 Yveltals and 4 Weaviles, so definitely not quite there yet, but I'm very excited to go ahead and get that Yveltal right now. If we got a second one, that would be so cool. I'd be so hyped right now. I doubt it's going to happen. We got an uncommon here, I believe. That's going to be a Pichu as our uncommon here. So that's whatever. It's not a big deal. Okay, we got another uncommon, which would be pretty unfortunate. We got a Voltorb. All right, and finally, our final one. What are we going to pick up? We got another gold one. Come on, come on. No rainbow? Is that a rare then? Okay, so we got a Druddigon. So we have 2 Druddagons now. Druddigon's a pretty fantastic Pokemon, so definitely not complaining there. Although we got an EX. Oh my goodness, what? I haven't gotten EX one of these. Counterattack. Let's go ahead and read that real quick. This play can be used when you have enemy Pokemon on all your own entry points. Select one of your Pokemon on the field. That Pokemon will have +1 MP for that turn. So that's actually kind of crazy. So your entry points are covered and you're down and out, but you're really not, because now you can move something that's going to run across to your opponent's side of the field very easily. People do try to go for those grindy games and control the whole field and go and take over both of your entry points pretty often. It's a pretty frequently used strategy, so definitely pretty happy to go ahead and pick that up. That said, I don't think it's going to be going into my deck right now because there isn't really a defined meta yet. So we can't really say for sure that it's ever going to be used in a match. Alright guys, so my team basically revolves around Latios and making Latios work. So there's basically a plan for if Latios works or if Latios does not work. So if you take a look at his spinner, you'll see that he has 60 power, 70 power, and 120 power, all with pretty good odds, followed by 2 12% dodges and only a 4% miss. So that is really fantastic and has to be balanced by his hallucination ability, which means that basically when he gets knocked out, he's completely removed from the game. Now, you do have to supplement a team with Latios on it with some sort of recovery, some sort of thing that's going to make it so your team works a little bit more synergistically than most others. That's why I'm using Ho-Oh. So I have 2 Ho-Ohs on my team because of their abilities specifically. Now, obviously, a spinner like this is pretty fantastic as well. Having a 50 and 100 make up about 2/3 there is really, really great, followed by Rainbow Wing, which is just an amazing move, I have to say. I've won because of Rainbow Wing 3 or 4 times at this point, and I've played probably 50 games or so, so not a whole lot, but it's definitely a really fantastic move overall. So when you take a look at its ability, Serene Light, when this Pokemon is knocked out, all Pokemon in your PC are moved to the bench, this Pokemon excluded. So it sort of rotates your Pokemon faster if they continually get knocked out for whatever reason. If you have sort of a bad run of battles and you just lose a couple Pokemon in a row, you're not necessarily going to lose the game even if you already lost your Latios. Now moving on to our defender, Giratina. Now Giratina definitely works on the offense as well. As you guys can see, it's a very powerful Pokemon, and you only have a 12% miss chance, which even though it's much more than Latios, is still pretty powerful in itself. So you guys can see that it's a pretty powerful Pokemon, has a pretty solid chance of hitting a move. And instead of a move point move, you can move this Pokemon through an adjacent Pokemon to a spot next to that Pokemon. This ends your turn. So it's just a solid defender. And being one movement, you really can't just rely on it to be an offensive Pokemon. So honestly, that's the reason that it's in my team. I know it synergizes with other Pokemon better, and I know that I could put better Pokemon in this particular position. But right now, I don't have those Pokemon. Right now, I'm just relying on what I've got. So Giratina just goes in this defender position. And then I use Druddigon for one move and one move alone. We have Dragon Tail here. Dragon Tail means that even if you lose your battle, if you have, let's say, 120 damage go against your 50 damage, it's still going to bench your opponent's Pokemon. It's going to be a neutral trade, which is just invaluable when you have super powerful Pokemon like Latios, like Ho-Oh, and like what I'm going to get into now, Keldeo. Keldeo works a lot of the same ways that Druddigon does, but I didn't have another Keldeo to replace Druddigon with, so I decided to continue to use Druddigon in my deck. So Keldeo has Hydro Kick, which basically does the same exact thing. It also has Sacred Sword, which does 51 damage and a 16% chance of just straight up dodging, which is really, really nice. It's got a 14% miss, but that's really not bad when you consider the fact that almost a third of the time it's going to be benching your opponent's Pokemon for a neutral trade, and that's not taking into account any of the times that it's going to either win with 40 damage or win with 51 damage. And then you also have the additional damage that you're going to get from just generally your opponent using Dark Pokemon, which is fantastic in itself. Then we go over to plates, and I really don't have a lot of plates that I really think too highly of. Pokemon Switch is pretty mediocre. We have X Attack, which comes into play sometimes. We have our Focus Band, which I like to use on Latios against something that's more powerful to make sure that I still have Latios and it doesn't just get flung off the field. And you know what happens. You've seen it in my videos before. He just gets flung off the field. You just feel bad. You feel like you're just going to lose because of it, because you're just down a Pokemon for the rest of the match. And then we have Desperate Times, which is generally just useful if you want to do a whole bunch of damage with a Pokemon that doesn't necessarily have super powerful moves. I do like to use that on Druddigon because, as you guys can see, Druddigon has a 40 power move that's only powered up if something else is benched, or a 50 power move which will be powered up. So definitely is very consistent and useful with Druddigon. So that's generally my team. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into a match real quick, and I'll show off to you guys just how the team works in action and just sort of explain every single move. Just so you guys are totally aware, there may be strategies, there may be a meta that comes out after the making of this video, and I apologize if that's the case, but right now this is my understanding of the game and how I play the game, so I'm just trying to explain it from my point of view. Alright, so we got first play here, so we are just going to go straight out of the gate. Well, first off, we'll check his team. So he has a pretty weak team, it looks like. We got the Squirtle, the Pikachu, the Ghastly, the Drapion, which is interesting. We got Quilava, which is really interesting. Then we've got Gardevoir, which is pretty much a powerhouse. So we are going to go ahead and drop our Latios right there. And then if he places the right Pokemon at the beginning here, particularly Drapion there, he did not place the right Pokemon there for us to just straight up win. He placed the Squirtle, which is probably going to be the right decision. We are going to go ahead and counter that with a Ho-Oh going up the middle there, because I do think that he's probably going to drop Ghastly. Ghastly is gaseous form. Not surround opponent's Pokemon. Cannot be surrounded itself. Okay, so it does not have Infiltrator, which is important because Infiltrator Pokemon can move through your Pokemon, which is really the most annoying thing, honestly. And it's the reason why you'll see Shuppet on high tier teams still, even though they'll have like EXs and everything. They'll have like 5 EXs and a Shuppet because Shuppet just moves through and just jumps on your opponent's not entry point, their win space basically. So we are going to go ahead and throw Keldeo down the side there and hope that he drops Drapion there. I think he will. I think he's probably... No, he'll drop Pikachu. Does he attack? Wow, okay, so he did not attack, so that's fine. We're actually going to advance with our Ho-Oh here because I don't think that we're going to see Ghastly defend against Ho-Oh. I mean, let's be real here. We're going to Rainbow Wing. Now, can he move to... He can't move over this way far enough to defend properly. He's not going to be able to take out my Ho-Oh with any of his Pokemon, as you guys can see from... Okay, so we do see the Ghastly just hop over there. That's fine. But as you guys can see, I could make that decision because otherwise he could have actually surrounded my Ho-Oh and knocked it out, because if you totally surround a Pokemon, then it immediately knocks it out, unless it has an ability that makes that not happen. But he has a 2 movement point, a 2 movement point, and a 1 movement point, as you guys can see, so I could make that decision. Now we're also going to be going ahead and attacking Ghastly again, hopefully taking it out here. We do take it out here, which means basically we win the game if Squirtle doesn't win his battle here. If he attacks with Squirtle, that's the only thing he can really do. I guess he could attack with Gardevoir. That's actually true. So we're probably going to see an attack from Gardevoir, I would assume here anyways. That's what I would do. to try to take out this Ho-Oh, because otherwise Ho-Oh is just going to be taking the match away. So Gardevoir is going to attack because that's the last-ditch effort here. We're going to see Warpole. What does Warpole do? Switches battle opponent for a Pokemon on the field, bench or PC. Then the Pokemon must wait 3. Ooh! Okay, I see you. I got that. That's fine. We can wait it out. It's all good. Don't worry about it. So they got to wait 3, so we have to wait multiple turns here. So that's not cool, but he's probably going to try to knock him out in between. So we're going to try to just advance with Latios. I think that's our most likely scenario here. We can't miss, though. Okay, Luster Purge versus Bubble. We are going to take out Squirtle, which means that we can continue advancing with Latios. Did not want to be losing against that Squirtle. That would have sucked real bad. So we've got one more turn until we default win. And we're going to actually position Latios right here if we can. Because what's going to happen is he's probably going to take out Keldeo, but he's not going to be able to put something on that spot to block me off immediately, which means I'll just be able to drop Latios into the win position. And then obviously we don't have to defend right now because we only have Pikachu on the side there. Okay, we're going to see a Hurdle Jump. Interesting choice, I have to say. Now we have to actually take him out. The thing is, we could risk it for the biscuit here. We could drop a Hydro Kick on him, and then it would be neutral. I didn't even mean to do that, so we just did that, I guess. Whoops. So we dodged the Warp Pole. That's totally fine. We're still on a position where we can't be boxed out with one turn. And he can't box us out anyways because his 2 Pokemon with 3 movement points are right off the side there. Is he going to attack? I was gonna say you got balls, dude. That's that's a pretty bad matchup for you there. So we're actually gonna go ahead and Focus Band and attack Gardevoir right now, because I feel like that's our best use of the move right now. Because if we Hydro Kick, yes, there we go, Hydro Kick, fantastic. So that's going to mean that we basically win the match if Quilava can't take us out, if Ghastly can't take us. Actually, wait, Ghastly shouldn't be able to jump on that, but I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay, Quilava's going to come and try to take us out there, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work, and we're going to go ahead and take the win, guys. So basically, you're just trying to get to the other side of the board and to the win spot on your opponent's side, and that's just the whole point of the game. So you have to try to figure out the best way to get over there, and that's just where my thought process comes in. That's why I'm trying to explain every single move, because you have to defend your side of the board while advancing on their side of the board, and sometimes that takes into account the move points that your opponent's team has and has access to, because a lot of times you'll get to the point where you can get within 1 or 2 tiles of your opponent's win space, and then you have to react accordingly to what they can throw at you. But yeah, guys, finally, just before we end the video today, I just wanted to explain Fusion because quite a few people have asked me about it. So here's the deal, right? You can go ahead and you'll get a whole bunch of Pokemon and you'll wonder what you're supposed to level up. First off, there are resources for that out on the internet and on YouTube for people that actually sort of know what they're doing. So I'm not going to recommend anything that you level up. However, there are some Pokemon that are just undeniably good, like Latios, where in any position you should probably be leveling them up. But in any case, let's say that I want to level up this Delphox, okay? So I've opened up a whole bunch of packs, whole bunch of boosters, and I've got a bunch of these rare metals, okay? So right now, I'll throw these at it, okay? So now if I fuse all of these into Delphox, it'll level up to level 3, which will give me 3 points that I can put into one move. That'll take 3% away from Miss and put it into whatever move. So it'll add 3% to whatever move I choose and take 3% away from the Miss chance. So I'm not going to do that right now, but that's just basically how that works. So you just want to get as many rare metals as you possibly can. You have ingots, which I think I sold all of mine earlier. Ingots can be sold in the shop, so you go to shop and then you go to exchange for coins, and then you just sell all of your ingots and you get a whole bunch of coins for them. Never fuse them. Finally, if you fuse any cubes into your Pokemon, it'll pop up right here for the chain level. So right now my Salamence is chain level 0 and it's 2 out of 3 to get to level 1. Apparently there are 10 chain levels, and I have absolutely no idea what they do. I haven't actually been told or been able to research exactly what their purpose is. But basically, you just have to fuse whatever type of Pokemon it is. So like this is a rare Pokemon. Salamence is a rare, so you have to fuse in rare cubes. Likewise, if you have commons, then you can fuse in these common cubes, or uncommons, you can fuse into uncommon Pokemon. So that's basically how that works. I'm not exactly sure, again, exactly what that does, but it does something to boost the power of your Pokemon in general, so it's definitely something to look out for. Finally, I just have to recommend to you guys that if you ever need any more spaces in your actual Pokemon party and you don't have the gems or want to spend the gems to go ahead and buy those spaces, then you just go over to the shop and go to exchange coins, and then you just sell whatever Pokemon you don't want. So let's say I just didn't want those, I just sell all of them and get 3,357 gold. So that's just basically my guide on starting out the app. You always want to be opening up one of these little crates, one of these boosters, and if you get one of these, open it up. Don't spend gems on opening up the boosters because it's just not worth it. Always spend gems at the shop, in my opinion, or going in and increasing the size of your party so you can hold more Pokemon figures. But I definitely would never ever spend them on these boosters to open them up quicker. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. And I think the last thing to really talk about is always make sure you're getting your locked booster for the day. It's super easy and quick, and you only play a few matches. So if you have like a half an hour, you can just knock out one of these locked boosters, and you can generally get some pretty good stuff from it. I actually just picked up my Salamence from it earlier today, so pretty happy about that. One final tip for you guys. So if you're buying boosters, if you're going to be buying the gems and then getting all of these figures from boosters, make sure that you're always buying the biggest pack you possibly can, because otherwise it's just not worth it. So for example, we had the Sextuple pack not too long ago, which actually gave you a guaranteed EX, and we can also get quadruple packs now, which gives you a guaranteed rarer EX, and it's just overall a better chance at getting what you want. And guys, that's gonna be about it for this one. Hope you have a fantastic day. Hope to see you back here for the next video very shortly. Until the next one, peace.